Welcome back to another end of a video talk that's always very awkward for me. The hike was in the high Sierras in California. It's a big national park. I keep getting distracted by the things outside. Day one, I woke up around 4 a.m. I had to drop my girlfriend off at the airport because we were previously in Vegas just on a little vacation. Then I drove about 8 hours to the trailhead. The last 1 hour and 30 minutes of the drive was just 22 miles because the road to the exact trailhead was very windy. So just be prepared if you ever think about doing this trailhead and ones around it. I started the hike around 1 p.m. I hiked about 8 miles that first day. 7 miles of it was uphill, 1 was down. I camped out at a little lake. It was very windy and rainy, and then it even hailed a lot. You saw a little bit in the video if you were paying attention. I was real tired since I got up at like 4 a.m. that day. So I crashed around 5 p.m. and didn't wake up until 6 a.m. the next morning. So I got a good healthy 13 hours of sleep. Day 2, I hiked about 4 miles downhill until we got to Shotgun Pass Trail, which is an unmaintained trail. And when they say unmaintained, it means no trail whatsoever. So it was very unfun. I had about 5 miles on the trail. 3 of it was uphill, and it was at like a 30 to 50% grade, so it was absolutely horrid. No trail whatsoever, just brush. I didn't really record much because I was just so exhausted climbing up the hill. So I got kind of lazy, and I didn't really feel like recording. And then there's about 2 miles downhill, which was also not very fun, but a lot easier since you're going downhill. And when I say 2 miles and 3 miles, I mean if you walked in a completely straight line. But for me, I've zigzagged all over the place because there was literally no trail whatsoever. So you just kind of just keep going up and hoping you're going the right direction. The only reason I could stay in a straight line is because I used the All Trails, a GPS downloaded map. So if you don't have that, I would definitely never suggest that. After I finally reached the trail again, I hiked about another mile and I set up camp. So night 2, it actually rained harder than the first night. It rained extremely hard, basically nonstop. Condensation was getting through my tent. I kind of got wet. It was really fun. It was a little chilly, not too bad. Still could sleep, just not the greatest. Then when I woke up in the morning, I went to grab my bear canister. It was gone, so it just went down. It just rained so hard it washed away into like a little creek and then to a river right next to me. And I looked for maybe an hour, a couple miles down the trail, down the river, looking for it, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, well, there goes my burner and all my food. So day 3, I didn't get to eat anything, and I get to pay for the bear canister and a new stove, which is awesome. That night, I went around about 10 and then woke up at day 3. It started off, it was just about a 2 mile uphill, and then it was a 7 miles downhill, straight cruising. It was real easy, real enjoyable. It would have been better if my knee wasn't hurting, but that's my own problem. Then I reached the trailhead. When I finally reached the trailhead after doing, what I gotta do, I just had an 8-hour drive back to the airport, and then I flew home at 12 a.m. and got home at 6 a.m. So it was pretty fun. Overall, the trail was very beautiful, and I always wanted to do a mountainous hike like this. I never got to really do one because they're all on that side. I'm living in Michigan, and they're all over on that side for the good ones. So I finally got an opportunity to do that, which was really exciting. For this exact hike, I wouldn't actually recommend it just because that unmaintained part of the trail was so bad. It was probably the worst section of a hike I've ever did in my life. So I would definitely not suggest this one. The only really reason I did this one is because I didn't have long enough notice before I planned it, so I didn't really get to pick like the best hikes. I just picked a good one that was open, obviously. So if you do plan on doing one in the area, there's plenty of other better ones that are more lakes, better views, probably not as steep. So I would definitely suggest doing a little research and finding a better one, or you can even ask me. I might have some saved. But overall, I have no regrets of doing this. The only regret I have is losing the bear can and then having to buy a new burner and all of my spoon and all the food that I lost and not being able to eat the last day. But other than that, it was very fun, very enjoyable. And I'll catch you later. Alright, boys, I'm sorry, but video time's over, so now I'm going to have to force you guys to get up. Oh, 40 boys! Naked appearance.